Patton Sports Videocast is brought to you by Snap Laces. Snap Laces' elite lacing system was designed for world-class athletes. They come in hundreds of color combinations so you can perform well and look great at the same time. Buy a set online today by clicking through the top image on mopattonsports.com. LT360 is a health and weight loss company based in Brentwood, led by Coach Scott Oatsvall and Brent High. They have helped more than 700 clients in the last year get healthy, lose weight, and feel better with an all-natural program and simple approach to exercise and nutrition. LT360 offers free health and wellness seminars each week. For more information, visit their website at lt360.com or call them at 615-312-8244. Taziki's Mediterranean Cafe, Nashville's answer to fast, friendly, healthy comfort food. With a menu featuring assorted grilled meats, fresh veggies, and a dash of inspiration, Taziki's casual dining is perfect for lunch, before a movie, or a dinner featuring laughter and great memories. Originality is our nationality. With 7 Middle Tennessee locations, one of them is near you. Check www.tazikiscafe.com to select your nearest location and next favorite dish. I want to welcome everybody to Patton Sports Videocast. National Signing Day. The smoke is cleared. Probably a few more guys that will sign here from Middle Tennessee over the next little bit because it wasn't a one-day thing. How long is that period, Coach Patton?
Well, it lasts for a while. I mean, you start the signing day as of yesterday, and you know, it'll continue to filter, especially when you start talking FCS, Division II, NAIA kids, you know, continue that process. Then you have some big guys who are still kind of holding and waiting, trying to figure it out. We've heard all the stories in the past where mom and dad is not sure where a kid wants to go, and so you might have a kid or two who's you know, a major 1A guy trying to still figure it out as well. So
we're here with Rock Patton, the football coach at Battleground Academy. We're in his palatial indoor facility here, and really feel fortunate to be able to bring Rock on because this is a guy who has been involved in recruiting from every facet of it. Recruited as a high school player out of Michigan, signed with Vanderbilt, played at Vanderbilt, was a recruiting coordinator at Vanderbilt, and now obviously helping his guys try to find the right fit over here at BGA. So thought he would be a great guy to talk to about what went down this week locally, and just, you know, we were talking off air a little bit about how much recruiting has changed since you were in high school.
Yeah, it's evolved in a major way. I mean, to be honest, you know, when I was getting recruited, you're talking '94. You know, the rivals and those guys were just really popping up, and the stars weren't really. It was not as strong in terms of the coverage, and it's just evolved so much. And I mean, the hoopla of yesterday, kids on TV announcing where they're going, the hat swapping, the social media. I mean, Twitter, Facebook, all those things, and it's amazing how it's evolved, and it just really takes over the entire wave of sports on that day, and all the hoopla bringing up to it.
Yeah, you know, Middle Tennessee has been really fortunate over the last few years. We really had a lot of big-time recruits coming out of here. We had the 2 guys that signed with Texas A&M. I think we had 7 Southeastern Conference signees across the board. But, you know, don't lose sight of some of those smaller schools. And, you know, congratulations to you and to BGA and to Patrick Wells and Clay Beathard. Clay's going over to UT Martin, Patrick Wells going over to Furman. What do you see out of those 2 guys? And Martin was a little quiet yesterday relative to what they've done over the last little bit.
Well, I'm just excited for those young men. They've worked hard, and I've had opportunity to watch them grow as players and as young men through the process. But you know, the recruiting process, it's a process. I mean, you know, you have your hopes and dreams of all these places, but in the end, you have to find the right fit. And I think UT Martin and Furman got 2 really good football players, 2 really good young men who are going to work hard and really going to have, I think, a really successful career in college.
You know, staying in the Ohio Valley Conference, I don't think anybody that's paid any attention the last month or so could have not noticed what Will Healy has done up at Austin Peay since he got there, and again, made a huge impact in Nashville in the Middle Tennessee area. Got 3 guys out of Brentwood Academy, got 1 from over at Stratford. Corey, and I just lost his last name.
Got the kid at Hillsborough.
Corey
as well.
Simmons, yeah, got the big kid at Hillsborough, Malcolm Swan. So really came in here, hit the ground running with that young staff, and really made an impact.
Yeah, I think he did a really good job. If you look at the kids he signed, I thought he was very smart about hitting the Middle Tennessee area, really strong, really hard, and getting some really quality players. They made a really impact, and I think they've opened some eyes, not only that conference, but definitely locally with coaches. You know, seeing those guys pop up is big, and so wishing those guys a lot of success. But I think he did a really good job with that class, and really in the short time he had to really sign guys. You're talking, 4 weeks or so to really close in on some guys, and that's impressive. So looking to see how they evolve over the next few years in recruiting.
And again, from where you sat, being in that position of recruiting, how tough is it to close that gap in that short period of time?
It's tough because you look at high school kids. A lot of kids, it's the school, but a lot of recruiting is based on relationships. That's one of the most important things. Of course, find the right fit academically, system-wise for the player. But the relationship really sells the recruiting. Playing for that coach or the coach that's actually recruiting him, building that relationship with him and his family. And those guys were able to pull that relationship off, and their identity and their vision as a program off in a short time. So that's impressive. So we'll see how it goes.
Absolutely. Tennessee State, I don't want to say they were more active locally, but I think they had more success locally this year than they have in years past, and I know that was a big focal point for Rod Reed and that staff this year. I think the big lick for them was Chris Rowland from over at Ravenwood. People got in on him late, but this is a kid who had 2,600 total yards last year, 26 touchdowns, rushing, receiving, return game, and I really think he was a steal for them.
Yes.
But quietly, there's another kid that they got, William Summers from over at Stratford, who is every bit as fast as Rowland probably. Right. I told somebody that I think they got half of a 4x1 relay team in the process there. But I think that TSU, with the job that they did locally, they also got Khalil Jones, a defensive tackle from over at Stratford, and Larry Wilhoit, who you saw at Franklin Road Academy this year.
They were able to get some really quality talent. Definitely locally. In terms of speed, I agree with you. The Rowland at Ravenwood is a dynamic player. And it can do so many things, and then getting the kid from Stratford, things coach has done over there in terms of kid's gonna be well coached, hard nosed, talented kid is exciting for them. But I was excited to see them get more local kids. I think the state of Tennessee, especially the Middle Tennessee area, in terms of players and athletes, it just continues to get better, and I'm excited to see some of our local schools, but also some national schools coming here, really getting our kids here in their state.
As you mentioned that, two things I want to ask you about. Obviously, Rowland's situation is probably so related to his stature. Do you think he could have played bigger?
I do. The big thing I think with recruiting is sometimes people look for a certain size, certain height. I want these guys pop the tape on. The kid can play, he can play, and Rowland can play. I mean, he's a really good football player. You watch him throughout the season and look at his stats and the big games he had. There's a lot of opportunities that he had opportunity to get the football, and he made plays for them all down the stretch. And so I'm one of these guys, you put the tape on and see a kid can play. A kid maybe not be as tall, but he's electric. He can be a kick returner, a punt returner, and put him in a slot, reverse. There's ways you can give him touches. And, you've seen guys who are not big in college have success. And so I think he's a really good player, and I think they got a steal getting that kid.
I do also. And the second thing I wanted to ask you, you mentioned the talent in this area and how it has kind of grown exponentially here right before our eyes, basically. What would you attribute that to? I mean, I think a lot of people have a lot of different theories about it, but from where you sit, what's been the key to that?
Well, I just think one, exposure in our state is growing. The coaching level in terms of the coaches and what everybody's working on, and really continue to grow our kids athletically. I think a spotlight is on our state right now. I think the college teams around our state are continuing to thrive. But I think our kids are just they're growing and getting more work and getting better coach. Public school, private school, all throughout our state, and getting more exposure with all these camps and things that are going on. And so I just think it's continued growth in our state and exposure of our state, and getting our kids some more awareness and how to get better. So
and also taking care of things in the classroom.
no question, that's the key. Our kids are good students, and really the essence of student athletes. There's a lot of those kids here in this mid-state. When you talk to coaches recruiting who get in this area new, I go, guys, there's a lot of great players here. No matter if you're looking for the high academic kid or you're looking for a different type kid, there's a lot of good players in the mid-state area, and I think a lot of universities are taking notice, and we're getting flooded right now with colleges, and just for our kids, I hope that continues, and I think it will.
When we come back, we're going to talk a little more with Battleground Academy football coach Rock Patton, kind of wrapping up the early portion of national signing period in football. We'll be right back. John Mayer Builders proudly sponsors the Mo Patton Sports Videocast. With over 1,500 homes built in Middle Tennessee, John Mayer Builders knows the importance of families and communities. They have numerous business awards to their credit, proving that John Mayer Builders is built to win. Like them on Facebook. John Mayer Builders, our reputation is building.
Southern Athletic Fields originated in 1996 when Bill Marbett formed a company specializing in baseball and softball field materials. SAF has since grown and now has sales reps to cover over 12 states with products servicing many outdoor sports. Southern Athletic Fields takes great pride in working with our customers to achieve the best athletic field possible. Visit our website at www.southern-athleticfields.com or like them on Facebook. Dirt, you gotta love it.
Great teams have talent. They also have the necessary tools for success. BSN Sports delivers these tools whether your team needs uniforms, apparel, or athletic equipment to achieve greatness. Just like a winning teammate, BSN Sports is there for you. Their unmatched service ensures that you have best-in-class equipment for championship-level performance, plus uniforms and athletic apparel from the best brands in the industry to look your best when hoisting your trophy.
As an All-State agent in Murfreesboro, James Knight knows many local families. His knowledge and understanding of the people in this community helps him provide customers with an outstanding level of service. He helps families like yours protect the things that are important: your family, home, car, boat, and more. He's proud to work with a company like Allstate. As a small business owner, he understands the importance of building a solid foundation for the future and developing long-lasting customer relationships. When you leave his office, I hope you'll feel confident, informed, assured, and satisfied in your choices, the way you should feel. MTSU got a couple of local kids, couple of linemen. Ty Nix right there in Murfreesboro at Oakland, whose dad is on the staff over there, and Rickavian Poydras up at Clarksville. I don't know if you had a chance to see either of those guys, but I know Middle hasn't really recruited locally, and we've kind of talked about that with some other programs, but what did you see out of them?
Well, I think sometimes you have to look at fit and need, and so when schools like that do not recruit locally, sometimes maybe they didn't find the right fit, or were in on a couple guys, and other guys chose other places. So sometimes it's hard to fill that read. I do know they had a presence in the mid-state in terms of getting out recruiting. You heard other high school coaches talk about their recruiting. Did not get to see either one of those players, but I do know about in terms of Nix. I follow his dad in terms of coaching and can understand what type of coach he is and intensity. So I would think his son has those same attributes, and all I've heard about him, he's a really good player and a strong player, will do well. But you just never know. You look at those boards in recruiting, you just try to find those right fits, and you try to pitch to certain kids, and sometimes it's just not a right fit. You know, so sometimes that's how it goes in recruiting.
Interesting dynamic there when you talk about a kid playing for his dad, and MTSU's already got that with Brent and Rick.
Right.
But obviously that's not something you've encountered, but just what would you think something like that would be like, especially at that level? I
think that would be special. I think for the kid at the beginning, it could be a little awkward in terms of my dad, in terms of just with his teammates. But I think for the dad, if he's the coach and coaching his kid or being a part of that team, I think that's a special. You're talking about 4 or 5 years of some special times with your son, and be a part of something with your son and building something great with your son. So I'm excited for those guys in terms of that relationship, especially Coach Stockstill, his son being the quarterback and playing really well and doing some really good things for them. So that's exciting. I think that's some special times that will go a lifetime for those families.
You know, we talked earlier about 7 guys headed to the SEC from this area. That's pretty big stuff.
Yeah.
And that number may be a little down from the last couple of years, but you know, you look out at Nashville Christian, they had Daniel Batuli, who's going to Tennessee, and he looks every bit the part when you stand next to him, does he not?
He's a man. He is a man. He is a very good football player. Definitely looks the part, plays the part as well. They are getting a very good football player. Coach Jeff Brothers and those guys has done a great job over there, just developing him and continuing him grow. And all that I hear about him from those coaches is he's a worker. And UT's getting a really good football player, but he's a man.
You know, now would you have played with Jeff, or were you a little behind
I
him?
was right behind Jeff. I wore his number 8. Couldn't live up to his standard. He was a punt returner, also a DB. I was more of a DB, but wore number 8 right behind Jeff at Vandy.
Did not see him returning punts when he came out of Brentwood Academy, but he
led the SEC. It was all SEC as a punt returner. Jeff's a great coach, a great man, and he was a great player at Vandy. And so when I was able to get that number 8, they go, you got some big shoes to fill. The guy who wore that number before you was a player. So I knew the standards were set. So
that's awesome. Vandy got a couple of guys here locally. One of them came in early, Joanne Williams, who had a really unique situation in that he wasn't able to play last fall, transferring from Ryan to Hendersonville. But he is kind of that prototypical cornerback that everybody's looking for nowadays.
Right. We had a chance to play against him when he was at Father Ryan, and long, athletic, skilled, great feet, great ball skills. He's a talented kid, and he's a kid that, you know, just with his length and his size, I mean, he can play corner, he can play safety, he's got great ball skills. I think, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if he's in the mix for them this season. I mean, the fact he's there now, working out with the team, a mid-year guy, going into spring ball. I mean, I just think that's a really good pick for him in terms of Vandy picking up him, and I think he'll do a lot of great things, and I know they're excited about him.
And that was something I meant to ask you about regarding Batuli, just in terms of he is a man, physically speaking. How quick do you think, particularly at linebacker, particularly with Reeves Maben coming back in some of those type situations, do you think he gets on the field quickly, or does he redshirt to kind of get acclimated to the competition level, or how does that work?
They have a couple guys that are steady there. Reeves Maben. I think you try to figure out, can he, you know, as a coach, can he contribute early, and do we want to waste just a year on special teams? You know, that's something you have to tinker with. I remember being at Vandy as a coach, and we're trying to figure out, guys, do we play him as a true freshman? How does that affect us short term and long term? Was this kid talented enough that we can put some packages, that we can create a couple packages on defense for him? If it's, hey, he comes in on nickel to give some pressure. Is he a guy that comes in, maybe, hey, he's big enough, can he be an outside guy to come off the edge? So I think a little bit depends on their package and what they can do. It is a transition, you know, no matter how talented, no matter how many stars you have in high school, when you go to, especially at SEC school where they're men and guys are flying around, it's a different speed, a different pace, you know, can they transition and play at that speed and that pace every day and still stay healthy? That's the other piece that people don't think about. You get banged up during tour days. And so a lot of it is just figuring out the pieces of the puzzle.
I was really kind of surprised, and I guess I just don't realize the scope of things, but I was really surprised to see a Tyrell Dodson and an Ikena Okeke from Smyrna go to Texas A&M. More that they were able to get in here and convince those guys that was the place for them to be. And I guess Johnny Chavis is part of that. But, and again, it's not something you were involved with directly,
right.
But just from the outside looking in, does it surprise you to see guys from the area go off like that?
It really doesn't, because you look at them, you look at Texas A&M, you look at Missouri, these two new kind of SEC teams who have had opportunity to get in the South, and you know, look at a state like Tennessee and go, there's some really good players that fit. And let's be honest, Texas A&M has tradition. They've done a really good job, especially recently, of getting that program going. And I think for those two players, it probably was just exciting and appealing. Hey, It's different in Alabama. It's different in Tennessee. It's different in some of these other SEC schools. You never know the pitch. They may tell them, hey, you got an opportunity to come here and contribute early. I think that's exciting. And another thing, I think it gives our state and the mid-state a little bit more exposure. You got more kids going to other SEC schools, not just to some of the traditional things. So I think it's a great thing for those guys. And like I said, it all comes with the fit, opportunity to play, but also with the fit. And you got to praise those guys and Coach Sumlin doing a great job of getting two really good football players out of the mid-state.
Absolutely. Brentwood Academy sent 3 guys to Power 5 conferences, 2 of them to the SEC, with Bryce Matthews going down to Ole Miss, Ryan Johnson going up to UT, and then Brandon Adams, who had been a Vanderbilt commitment for the longest, heading down to Georgia Tech. But you saw those guys.
All 3 good players. I mean, you talk about an offensive line and a defensive line. I know Brandon playing defensive line, just talented, a lot of size, a lot of athleticism, strong guys. That's just really impressive when you see 3 linemen from the same school go to SEC schools or SEC type schools, and that's exciting, and I'm really proud of those guys. Of course, knowing Matthews, knowing his dad and working with his dad before, just excited for them. But that's just impressive. 3 really talented kids and 3 great schools. Selfishly wish could have kept on to Vandy kid, but he's still going to a great place, and they'll have a lot of success.
One of the things that I heard in the aftermath of Adams's change of decision was, and you probably ran into this at some point, he kind of wanted to get away from home a little bit. And I think that was, as we talked about Tennessee State in the previous segment, I think that sometimes kids just want to get out. Yeah. And that's kind of tough to fight from a recruiting standpoint, is it not?
That is tough, when you look at the recruiting process. And that was one thing for me in recruiting. I was recruited by some kids, some schools locally in my state, and wanted just something different, and wanted to get away from home a little bit. So, and you see that from some kids, and, especially for a kid who may be here and go to school right in the same city, So I definitely understand that, and some kids are looking for that. Just, hey, I want to get a little further away, but not too far, and still be able to come back home and experience and be with family. But for some kids, that's an important piece, Hey, I really like you, but I really want to, make a transition, a little further and have a different kind of experience as well. So,
got a little more recruiting we want to hit on with Coach Rock Patton from Battleground Academy. Want to catch you up a little bit on some winter sports stuff as well. We'll do that when we come back. Taziki's Mediterranean Cafe, Nashville's answer to fast, friendly, healthy comfort food. With a menu featuring assorted grilled meats, fresh veggies, and a dash of inspiration, Taziki's casual dining is perfect for lunch, before a movie, or a dinner featuring laughter and great memories. Originality is our nationality. With 7 Middle Tennessee locations, one of them is near you. Check www.tazikiscafe.com to select your nearest location and next favorite dish. At National Playmakers Academy, developing NPA athletes comes in 3s. NPA develops its student athletes' academic, social, and football-specific skills. Next, NPA develops them for better exposure today, recruitment tomorrow, and college education through scholarships for the rest of their lives. We are proud of the outstanding athletes we have developed. We are more proud of the college graduates we have prepared. Work with National Playmakers Academy for developing gifted athletes into productive citizens. I2, Integrity Insurance. I2 Agency was started with one primary focus in mind, helping people. As a multi-line insurance agency, we do that in a variety of ways with a full portfolio of products. Whether it's life, health, dental, Medicare, annuities, or home and auto insurance, we design solutions that will meet your individual needs. Logo My Logo continually beats the competition by 3 points. Service, expertise, selection. Beyond promotional products, Logo My Logo delivers incredible service to its clients. Their service is only matched by their marketing expertise in presenting their clients in the most professional light. Logo My Logo's broad selection means that their clients have multiple options to communicate their brand strongly. Premier marketing solutions require service, expertise, and selection, and Logo My Logo keeps finding a way to win by those 3 points. Rock, I think the big elephant in the room coming out of yesterday is quite possibly the best quarterback in Middle Tennessee remains unsigned, Andrew Bunch down at Independence. And we were talking earlier about Chris Rowland and how size may have impacted his recruitment a little bit. I don't think there's any question that was the case with Andrew this time around. I know you didn't play him, but you probably saw him in 7-on-7, maybe saw him on film, that kind of thing.
Yeah, it's mind-boggling because Bunch is a very good quarterback. We played against him in 7-on-7 early in the summer in the BA tournament, and we had some problems. I mean, he can throw it.
Don't feel bad. You weren't the only one.
as I learned, talking to another coach, he goes, we put take those guys and 3 of our guys, we might be okay. But no, he's a talented kid, and you just never know the circumstances. You never know. He may be sitting with 3 or 4 opportunities. You just never know. Like I said, yesterday, I think some people misunderstand. Yesterday was the start of it, you know. So it's a big day because it's a start when everyone can sign. But you're going to have kids from today all the way to, some of them take as long as the summer, signing. So you never know the circumstances. I hadn't talked to Coach over there, but he is a talented kid and can throw it, can run, can move. He's mobile. Can do a lot of things with the football. So I'm hoping he has some things and just trying to figure, some things out in terms of the best fit because he's a talented quarterback.
Absolutely.
And can do a lot.
I'm thinking that junior college may become an option for him. I mean, obviously, he's not going for academic reasons, so he could theoretically maybe step in someplace for a semester, put up some numbers against that type competition, and then maybe get somewhere next January at the 4-year level and really do something.
Well, you've seen kids who have gone that route feel like, hey, I'm a 1A football player, and I should be playing at these type schools, and maybe they don't get those type opportunities for whatever reason, and feel like, well, I'll go to junior college route, put up really good numbers, and get myself back out in the recruiting world and get those opportunities. So some kids do that, and it works well. So I think wherever he goes, he's going to be a very good football player and do a lot of great things because he has the skill set to do such.
I think you're absolutely right, and I'm excited to see what happens with him because again, I saw Independence probably more than I should have last year, but I think I saw him about 5 times, and the one thing about him is I don't think I can remember. I don't want to say never. I don't think I can remember seeing another high school quarterback throw with the consistent accuracy that he throws with. I mean, he hit windows that you just don't necessarily expect high school quarterbacks to hit. And he was working with some great receivers, obviously Nate Johnson, who's going to Michigan, and Seth Huner and some guys, but he made it relatively easy for him in a lot of cases. So
he definitely can deliver the football. I mean, he can throw the 12 or 14-yard dig. He can throw the deep ball. Of course, like you said, he has some really good receivers, but he can deliver the football and is very accurate.
Yeah. So stay tuned on that one. We're into the signing period for 2016. 2017s are on deck. They're already starting to get worked, obviously. Jacoby Stevens is a name that you're going to hear more and more and more as we get toward next February.
Right.
Was he at Innsworth?
Yeah,
okay.
He was there when I was there. Great. First off, he's a great kid. I mean, you talking about character. He's a great kid. Unbelievable football player. Super talented. Can do a lot of things. Can be a safety. Can be a receiver. He's a playmaker. He's a big hitter. People will get a really good football player who can play in a couple different spots. Kind of a really good, talented athlete. And I had a chance to run into him at a banquet here right after the season. And he's excited about next year. But he's just a great kid. And of course, in our state, making a lot of noise in the recruiting world.
Absolutely. Was committed to Louisiana State earlier, backed off of that. Recently got an offer from Florida State. I think Stanford has come through and checked on him. I mean, he's if you look up blowing up, he's definitely fitting that mold.
He's going to have his options. Definitely a lot of options and opportunities, and that's great for a kid because he can really, sit down and go, okay, what am I looking for in a school? What's the best fit? What's the best staff academically? What's my fit in terms of that? So excited when kids get those opportunities for them, and it's truly a blessing.
Another junior that we've heard a lot about that you're going to hear a lot more about, Ty Chandler over at Montgomery Bell Academy.
Talented kid. Arguably, I think he's, I think he's the best running back in our state. He's a He's an explosive kid. I've seen this kid hit holes, and I don't know how he gets out of them. And he hits it, and he's moving. I mean, he has another gear. He, you see him physically. He doesn't look like this huge kid, but he's strong. He's just a talented back and can catch the ball, and he doesn't mind, getting the ball 25, 30 times and taking the load.
40.
Yeah, 40. Well, I'll keep those numbers going up, but I think that kid is a really talented player, and I think he's a guy. He's blown up. I think he's been blown up since his sophomore year, so that's not new, but. He's a talented back, and it'll be interesting to see where he lands.
I think Ty's coach, Marty Uverard, who played for Boots Donnelly over at MTSU, I think he took one of Boots' favorite sayings to heart. The ball is not heavy.
That's right.
So
That's right.
I don't think Ty's going to get tired from carrying it. But one of the plays that stood out to me by Ty Chandler was that kickoff return in last year's state championship game. I mean, I think Brentwood Academy had been trying to keep it away from him. They slipped up one time. 98 yards later, he's in the end zone.
He can run. He'll make you miss. He'll run through you. He's not afraid to put his shoulder down and get the tough yards. And when he gets a seam and he breaks away, it's not many people is going to catch him. I mean, that kid can fly. So I'm really impressed with him, and I agree with you. That kickoff return kind of changed that game a little bit for the moment, and but he's a talented kid and a lot of ability.
Absolutely. Speaking of that game, another junior to keep an eye on, I think Jeremiah Oatsvall, the quarterback for Brentwood Academy, who is one of those great play kind of guys. But he's a lot of fun to watch, and I think he started to generate a little bit more attention at the 1A level.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see where he plays position-wise. I think he's an athlete. He can throw the ball, but he's definitely one of those guys, as I was watching that game, which won one of the greatest, I think, state championship games in a while. I mean, it was a really great game. He made a couple of plays. I'm like, and he makes a throw and hits a guy across the middle. So he's one of these guys going to be interesting to see. Is he going to be a quarterback? Is he going to be a guy that can play running back or receiver or DB
or basketball?
Or basketball, yeah. But he's a talented kid, and you can tell when you watch him on the field, he's a leader, and the team believes in him, and that goes a long way. We coached the kid when I was at other places in Cornell, and when he got in the huddle, everyone knew, that's our guy, and you can see that in him on the field at BA.
Corn went on and has been that guy at Miami as well.
Right.
So again, these guys, this is kind of where it starts for a lot of these guys. So keep an eye on them, because you're going to see them on Saturdays and maybe even on Sundays.
Yeah.
Mo Patton Sports Videocast is brought to you by Snap Laces. Snap Laces' elite lacing system was designed for world-class athletes. They come in hundreds of color combinations, so you can perform well and look great at the same time. Buy a set online today by clicking through the top image on mopattonsports.com. LT360 is a health and weight loss company based in Brentwood, led by Coach Scott Oatsvall and Brent High. They have helped more than 700 clients in the last year get healthy, lose weight, and feel better with an all-natural program and simple approach to exercise and nutrition. LT360 offers free health and wellness seminars each week. For more information, visit their website at lt360.com or call them at 615-312-8244. Taziki's Mediterranean Cafe, Nashville's answer to fast, friendly, healthy comfort food. With a menu featuring assorted grilled meats, fresh veggies, and a dash of inspiration, Taziki's casual dining is perfect for lunch, before a movie, or a dinner featuring laughter and great memories. Originality is our nationality. With 7 Middle Tennessee locations, one of them is near you. Check www.tazikiscafe.com to select your nearest location and next favorite dish. Shifting real quick into winter sports, want to recognize and congratulate our Mo Patton Sports Players of the Week from last week. Our girls basketball, our Life Transformation 360 Mo Patton Sports Girls Basketball Player of the Week. It's Kylie Hardy, a sophomore from Shelbyville. In 3 games, 3 wins for the Golden Eaglettes. Kylie averaged 15.3 points and 15.3 rebounds. That's strong.
Right.
16 points, 18 boards against Coffee County, 20 points and 14 boards against Franklin County, and 10 points and 14 rebounds in a non-district win against Smyrna. So congratulations to Kylie Hardy from Shelbyville, our Life Transformation 360 Girls Basketball Player of the Week. On the boys' side, we've got Bo Hodges, a junior guard from Maplewood. In 2 games, he averaged 26 points, both wins for the Panthers. Scored 27 against Hume Fogg 25 against Stratford and a couple of Big Ten AA wins over there for Maplewood. So Bo Hodge is our Snap Lacets Boys Basketball Player of the Week. Congratulations to him. And on the mats, Isaiah DeMello from Independence, the junior who swings between 220 and 285 for them, had four matches last week, 4 pivotal matches for them because that District 11 AAA was so hairy right down to the end. He had 4 pins. He was on the mat for a total of 4 minutes and 42 seconds in those 4 pins, and Indy won all 4 of those matches, 2 of them in the Region 6 AAA duels tournament. So big week for Isaiah DeMello down at Independence, our Taziki's Mediterranean Cafe Patton Sports Wrestler of the Week. All 3 of those people, athletes, I almost said guys, but Kylie's not. But all 3 of them will be receiving gift cards from Taziki's Mediterranean Cafe. There's 7 locations in Nashville in the Middle Tennessee area. I'm sure one of them is close to them, one of them's close to you, so get out and check it out. Again, I want to thank Rock for being with us and for allowing us to do this here in his facility here. It's really nice. If you get a chance, come check it out. But for Rock Patton, I'm Maurice Patton. Thanks for joining us here on Patton Sports Videocast. We'll see y'all soon.